Inspired by Dr. King, they came up with powerful words of their own. These are the words that became the SNCC slogan. We are all leaders. Are you leaders? When President John F. Kennedy got a taste of SNCC's integration, he didn't sit in, he stepped in. On June 11, 1963, the president went on TV. He urged Americans to treat each other fairly. He then told Congress to take action against segregation. This became the Civil Rights Act of 1964. And on July 2, 1964, President Lyndon B. Johnson made the act a law. It banned segregation in public places. The hard work and courage of those brave students paid off. They had taken a bite out of segregation. Now it was time to savor equality. Now they were ready for a big sip of freedom. Their order was simple: a double dose of peace with nonviolence on top. Hold the hate. Leave off the injustice. Now the students had the right recipe for integration. The steps were easy to follow. 1. Start with love. 2. Add conviction. 3. Season with hope. 4. Extra faith to flavor. 5. Mix black people with white people. 6. Let unity stand. 7. Fold in change. 8. Sprinkle with dignity. 9. Bake until golden. 10. Serve immediately. Makes enough for all. After weeks of sitting, when their backsides ached, after months of being still when their feet fell asleep, after years of praying for laws to change, when they were so hungry for equality, the young people finally got what they ordered. It was worth the wait. It was served to them exactly how they wanted it. Well done. And oh, integration sure tasted good. Those courageous young people enjoyed every bit. They came back to Woolworths for seconds and thirds, and for many helpings after that. When the sit-ins were all done, the students left a big tip. A donut and coffee with cream on the side is not about food. It's about pride. These were the words that filled them up. Civil rights timeline. The Greensboro sit-ins were one of many events that compromised a time in America's history known as the Civil Rights Movement, a series of happenings in which people came together to end racial discrimination. Here is a timeline of important civil rights moments that came before and after the Greensboro sit-ins and that led to equality among people. 1954, May 17th, the Supreme Court rules segregation in public schools is unconstitutional. 1955, December 1st, Rosa Parks, an African American seamstress, refuses to give up her seat. January through February of 1957, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. helps establish the Southern Christian Leadership Conference and becomes the first president of it. September, 9 black students in Little Rock, Arkansas enroll in Central High School despite being barred from entry by the Arkansas governor. 1960, February, was the Greensboro sit-ins. 1961, May 4th, was the Freedom Rides. Freedom Rides start when more than 1,000 student volunteers, both black and white, travel on buses throughout the South to test laws that prohibit segregation. Freedom Rides. 1962, October 1st, President John F. Kennedy sends thousands of federal troops to help drive back angry mobs at the University of Mississippi. And in 1963, April 16th through August, after being arrested and put in jail during a protest in Birmingham, Alabama, Dr. Martin Luther King writes the letter from Birmingham jail in which he underscores the importance of justice. And on August 28th, Martin Luther King Jr. delivers his famous "I Have a Dream" speech, while hundreds of thousands of listeners gather at the Lincoln Memorial as part of the March on Washington. 1964, July 2nd, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which outlaws racial segregation in schools and public places, is signed into law by Lyndon B. Johnson. A final helping, and here's a real picture of that moment. It says to the left is Joseph, and then Franklin, and then William and Clarence, who sat at the Woolworth's lunch counter on the second day of the sit-ins, and then it gives extra information about them. It says here in June 1960, Ella wrote an article, "Sit-ins and other demonstrations are concerned with something much bigger than a hamburger or even a giant-sized Coke. Negro and white students, North and South, are seeking to rid America of the scourge of racial segregation and discrimination, not only at lunch counters, but in every aspect of life." And notice this is a quote that was taken of help explaining the importance of the sit-ins.